Hey, this is Linus, what's up? Huawei has produced quite a few phones lately and everyone has been talking about the Honor 6X. Well, the phone is well built, it has decent specs, it has a pretty good display, a dual camera setup on the back, but it doesn't mean it's a perfect phone. Stay tuned for the full review. The phone ships with all the usual stuff, and some extras include a pair of cheap earphones. Keep in mind that the Honor 6X comes with a micro USB cable and there is no fast charger included. Once you pick the phone up, it definitely feels like a much more expensive device, as this phone costs around $250. The Honor 6X is made entirely of metal, well, except for the plastic top and bottom parts for antennas. I love that the phone sits comfortably in the hand due to nicely rounded edges on the back, the buttons are tactile and they are easy to reach. Speaking of that back, the Honor 6X's one of the main selling points is the dual camera setup. We have the main 12 megapixel shooter and another has 2 megapixel sensor, which is used to capture depth information to get those nice looking bokeh pictures. As usual to Huawei phones, the fingerprint scanner is very accurate, it is fast and it can unlock the phone straight from the standby mode. I love that the fingerprint sensor also acts as a trackpad. For example, we can swipe it down to open up the notification shade or take pictures with the camera. The 5.5 inches 1080p LCD display is sharp, bright, and it is definitely one of the best panels you can find for the price. It's great that we have a notification LED light and 8 megapixels camera. However, I don't like that there are only on-screen navigation keys. Well, at least you can switch the position of the buttons. The sound quality via the headset jack is decent and the volume output is pretty good. The loudspeaker quality is kind of average. Nothing impressive, but it is pretty good for the price of the phone. My Honor 6X has an octa-core high silicon Kirin 655 chip with 3GB of RAM and 32GB of expandable storage. You can also opt in for a more expensive 4GB model that has 64GB of storage. I played games like Asphalt 8, Noah 3 and Modern Combat 5 on the highest graphics settings. Well, I noticed that there were quite a few skipped frames on the Asphalt 8, but switching graphics to medium solved the issue. Also, the phone does not have any overheating issues. Speaking of the user interface, the Honor 6X ships with the EMUI 4.1, which is built on top of Android 6.0. We have a typical Huawei UI we've seen on other devices. There is no app drawer, the icons look cartoonish, but there are so many features and customization options whether you're going to use them or not. Just to name a few, you can change the looks by selecting from a variety of themes, tweak the display settings, or use some smart features like a floating dock. Personally, I don't use many of those features as I prefer the stock Android look and I miss the app drawer. On the other hand, the Honor 6X is a fast phone on the daily basis. I didn't have any stutter or lag whatsoever even after installing a lot of apps and keeping them running in the background. The camera can take pictures quite fast. We have a bunch of shooting modes to choose from. Just to name a few, there are manual photo and video modes. You can also make the best of the secondary camera by adjusting the aperture and selecting the focus area after you take the image. This feature works pretty well and you can get some really nice photos with the bokeh effect. The main 12 megapixels camera can produce some nice looking photos for a $250 phone, but I expected a little bit more detail in most of the shots. Also, the colors look a little bit washed out. The night photos are actually not bad. Obviously, there is more noise and less detail, but I've seen other phones in this price range that perform a lot worse.
Currently I'm shooting with the Huawei Honor 6X. This is handheld footage. It's a very cloudy day. It's super cold.
The device can shoot videos at the maximum resolution of 1080p and the quality of footage is pretty good, but the phone lacks any image stabilization and there are some other phones in this price range that can also shoot in 4K. The selfies look okay, but I would love to see some more sharpness. The selfie video looks pretty good for the class of the phone.
that's the front-facing camera sample, and let me guys know in the comment section down below what do you think about the image quality. Stay tuned.
The phone comes with a hybrid SIM card slot that can take either 2 SIMs or 1 SIM and the micro SD card. I didn't have any issues with the call quality, signal reception, GPS or Wi-Fi. The Huawei Honor 6X has a 3340 mAh battery, and I have to say that it keeps the lights on for a long time. Well, I could easily get over 1.5 days of moderate usage out of this phone that translates to more than 6 hours of screen on time. However, the phone lacks any quick charge features. With a supply charger, I could fully charge the phone in about 2.5 hours, which is not impressive at all. Alright, so we've come to the conclusion part, and I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of the Huawei Honor 6X. First of all, the phone is definitely well made and feels nice in the hand. It's made of metal, the buttons are nice and tactile, and I have no complaints at all. Also, I love the display, which is really bright. It's sharp, vibrant, it's LCD panel, so we have natural looking colors, and it is a decent panel overall. Alright, so other pros I wanted to talk about is the user interface. The phone is really fast and fluid on the daily basis. Like, seriously, I didn't have any lag or any stutter, but that doesn't mean that I really love the user interface because there is no app tray, the icons look cartoonish, and there are so many features, customization options that I don't really use. But that's just me. I prefer the stock Android look, like for example the OnePlus 3, OnePlus 3T or Google Pixel. But that's just me. You may love the user interface, and if you love it, you'll also love the speed and fluidity. Obviously, one of the key selling points of the Honor 6S is the dual camera setup. In general, the image quality is pretty good. Obviously, I would love to see some more sharpness and more detail in some of the shots, but for a $250 phone, the image quality is definitely pretty good. And last but not least advantage of this phone is a great battery life. Like seriously, I can use the phone for 1.5 or 2 days. Like I use the phone for browsing the web, checking out the emails and all that stuff, and the battery life is great. Alright, so I wanted to talk about the disadvantages of the Honor 6X. So first of all, as I said in the review, I'm not a huge fan of on-screen navigation keys. For some users it's okay, but I always prefer the capacitive buttons. Also, let's come back to software. I'm not a huge fan of that cartoonish look and feel, but it may look okay for you. Another thing that I have to mention is that the camera can't shoot in 4K resolution. It's not a deal breaker, but I've seen some other phones in this price range that can shoot in 4K. And the last major disadvantage, in my opinion, is that the phone does not have a fast charger out of the box. That means that you have to wait for 2.5 hours to fully charge the phone, which is not an impressive result. All in all, I still say that the Honor 6X is a pretty solid $250 phone, but as usual to budget devices, it has a few shortcomings that you have to consider before making a purchase. It was Linus, thanks for watching, and as always, if you guys have any questions about the Honor 6X, please drop me a comment down below. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and follow TechLineHD on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you in the next video soon.